morning, everybody. A special and warm welcome to our friends and colleagues from Saudi Arabia, dear Khaled ALKHATTAF, dear Augustin de ROMANET, dear ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues. It's, of course, a great pleasure to welcome you today for this inaugural day of the 9th edition of Paris Infraweek, here at the Ministry of Finance. I had the honor of opening last year's edition, and I am delighted to witness once again the energy and commitment that this week inspires among all its participants. I wish to extend my sincere thanks to Paris EUROPLACE for its continued dedication in bringing this event to life. I also wish a particular welcome to our Saudi partners, whose presence honored us today. I hope you will get a unique opportunity to meet, to discuss with representatives of all main European and international institutions active in infrastructure finance, and that you will be able to make the most of this week. This week, obviously, Paris will become the global hub where leaders, where investors, where policymakers shape the future of infrastructure. This year, Paris Infra Week will be dedicated to infrastructure as a strategic asset in a global shift. France is resolutely pursuing three key objectives against this background. First, sovereignty. Second, resilience. And three, competitiveness. The program of this Infra Week has been designed to turn these ambitions into concrete action and concrete projects. I'm sure you already had a look to the agenda, and you have seen there is a lot on it. Energy transition, digital transformation, defense financing, a new challenge, sustainable cities, international corridors, and much more. All sessions contribute to the same ambition, having an open dialogue on all main issues of infrastructure finance, and open the way to innovative solutions that will allow us to enhance competitiveness and sovereignty of our economies. In a few minutes, Minister LESCURE will join us for an opening speech, and I'm sure he will have an opportunity to highlight the importance of infrastructure projects you may contribute to financing. Beyond this plenary session, and this was just recalled, as you all know, Paris Infra Week is also an opportunity to attend a series of exclusive side events throughout Paris, allowing you to explore the future of infrastructure from every angle. It makes no doubt that this session will bring together a leading voice for high-level debates and forward-looking insight all week long. I will now leave the floor to Augustin, to whom I thank again for his commitments to the success of this Paris Infra Week. Enjoy the day, and once again, welcome in the Ministry of Finance.
So, Mrs. and Mr. Chairwoman, Mr. Director General of Treasury Bertrand DUMONT, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would extend a very warm welcome to Mr. Khaled ALKHATTAF, Chief Executive Officer of the Saudi Investment Promotion Authority, and to the entire Saudi delegation and to the Saudian ambassador. Thanks for being with us. Your presence confirms our shared commitment to strengthen our partnership by promoting Saudi Arabia as a key destination for European investors under Vision 230. With landmark projects with NEOM, Qiddiya, Diriyah, Alula, and many others, which embody Saudi Arabia's ambition for sustainable, connected, and future-oriented cities. And by facilitating Saudi investments in Europe through partnerships with French and European financial institutions. Together, we are targeting renewables, digital infras, and strategic industrial projects that enhance Europe's energy security, connectivity, and technological resilience. This year's Paris Infraweek takes place in a world marked by deep geopolitical, energy, and industrial imbalances. A world where infras are once again at the heart of sovereignty, competitiveness, and resilience. Our theme this year, Infra, a strategic asset in a global shift, reflects these transformations. We will explore the new strategic assets reshaping the global landscape. As Bertrand DUMONT said, defense and security, the energy transition, digital infrastructures powered by AI, quantum technologies and space, as well as the international corridors, logistics, digital and energy. They are redrawing the roots of globalization. And of course, we will address the crucial issue of mobilizing financial resources to make all this happen. If we look at recent trends in infra finance, a few key dynamics stand out. First, infra fundraising has never been stronger. 2025 has already broken all records with more than $200 billion raised just in 9 months. A historic milestone for this asset class. Second, the market is entering a phase of consolidation after several years of rapid expansion. Third, capital is shifting toward strategic themes, as I told, the energy transition, digital infras, including data centers and energy systems for artificial intelligence, as well as transport and logistics. If we look at Europe, it now stands as one of the world's largest and most dynamic infra markets, representing over 1/3 of global investment activity. Europe combines mature financial ecosystems, deep pools of capital, and a strong institutional framework, making it a natural home for long-term investors. Beyond its scale, Europe's appeal lies in its commitment to decarbonization and sustainability. With the Green Deal, the Net Zero Industry Act, and national transition plans driving massive opportunities across renewable energy, clean mobility, and digital networks. This clear policy direction, combined with robust financing infras, continues to make Europe a global benchmark for sustainable investment. Allow me to share a few recent figures. In Europe, infrastructure fundraising reached record levels in 2025. Nearly $90 billion in 9 months, a 66% increase over last year. And nearly 80% of that capital came from international investors. Many of these investors, along with sovereign funds and major institutions, are here with us this week. They're right. Paris has become the place to be to access the European market and structure ambitious infra projects. This Paris Infraweek embodies this momentum, a unique platform bringing together market leaders, investors, and policymakers. Our challenge now is to turn this momentum into tangible partnerships on long-term investments that drive resilient and inclusive growth. It is in this evolving landscape, Paris has real strengths. Paris is a powerhouse in infra finance, home with a vibrant ecosystem of developers, investors, and global tier banks. 4 French banks rank among the world's top 10, driving over 100 billion euros in infra commitments. A new generation of mid-cap infrastructure funds is reshaping the market also. Their assets have increased tenfold just in 5 years, now exceeding 50 billion euros. They are the engine of tomorrow's financing models, blending infrastructure and private equity. These funds are also nurturing a new wave of infratechs, innovative startups and SMEs that strengthen Paris' position as a global hub for infrastructure innovation. Finally, to fully seize these opportunities, we must continue to address the regulatory and financial barriers that constrain infra financing. As you know, the implementation of Basel III, particularly in Europe, could double the capital cost of infra lending for banks, even though they currently provide 2/3 of project financing across the continent. This would penalize sustainable and strategic projects by reducing banks' capacity to lend at a time when investment needs are so immense. This issue is essential. Our financial systems must continue to serve the real economy and support the massive investments needed for the energy and digital transitions. In this respect, I would like to highlight the recent work conducted by the Paris EUROPLACE Infra Working Group on the impact of Basel III implementation. This work provides key insights and recommendations to ensure that prudential regulation supports, rather than constraints, Europe's capacity to finance its strategic infrastructures. To conclude, Paris EUROPLACE is accelerating its initiatives through its Infra Working Group and a new task force bringing together a wide range of stakeholders, funds, industries, and public institutions. Together, we will strengthen the attractiveness of the Paris Financial Center as a leading hub for infra financing. I'm also proud to announce the 5th edition of the Infra Next Gen Awards, organized with Infraweek and celebrating the next generation of infra professionals. The remarkable quality of the candidates confirms that Paris is nurturing new talents and is well positioned to be a global leader in infra development, structuring, and financing. This year's agenda is more dynamic than ever, rich, forward-looking, and co-created by Paris EUROPLACE, its members, the French Treasury, I thank again for his cooperation, and FinInfra, the branch of the French Treasury dedicated to infras. Over 2,500 participants will gather this week for 30 high-level conferences and networking events, making the Paris Infraweek one of the largest global gatherings dedicated to infra and investment. Finally, I would like to thank all our partners and sponsors for their trust, their commitment, and their invaluable contribution. I wish to everybody a fruitful day and a very successful Paris Infraweek 2025. Thank you very much.
Many thanks, ladies and gentlemen. Augustin de ROMANET, thank you so very much for this overview of the challenges and opportunities of infrastructure investment and the role Paris, France, and the European Union can play in this landscape. As our speakers mentioned, this year, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is the country of honor of Paris Infraweek, a strong signal of the growing partnership between France, Europe, and the Kingdom on infrastructure, energy transition, and sustainable development and investment. It is therefore my great pleasure to welcome Mr. Khaled ALKHATTAF, Chief Executive Officer of the Saudi Investment Promotion Authority, for his opening remarks. Salam alaikum, Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, bonjour, as they say. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor to join you today at Paris Infraweek. This platform brings together the visionaries, policymakers, and investors who share single powerful conviction that infrastructure is not merely about building assets, but about shaping the future. From the heart of the Middle East, Saudi Arabia is driving one of the most ambitious transformations of our time. Guided by Vision 2030, the kingdom is redefining the very foundation of its economy and unlocking new frontier of innovation, sustainability, and partnership. At the core of this journey lies simple but powerful belief that infrastructure is the backbone of progress and bridge to global prosperity. By the end of this decade, Saudi Arabia will invest nearly $1 trillion in infrastructure across various sectors, including ICT, healthcare, education, industrial zones, and about 50% of that is planned for power, water, and transportation sector. By 2030, we will be achieving 45 to 50% energy mix and sustainable energy systems powered by advanced technologies and strengthened by global collaboration. We will be evolving our transport and logistics sector through world-class ports, railways, future-ready airports, world-class logistic corridors, and logistics hubs. We are building a digital future anchored in smart cities, AI, cloud infrastructure, and cybersecurity. This is not solely government endeavor. Nearly 40 to 50% of these investments, amounting to hundreds of billions of dollars, are open to private sector participation, creating unprecedented opportunities for global investors, financiers, and operators. Infrastructure is the architecture of opportunity, the bridges that connect people, the system that power economies, and the networks that enable innovation. Our transformation begins with landmark projects such as Expo 2030 Riyadh, the 2034 World Cup, and our giga and mega projects, which define the boundaries of sustainable urban living. Yet, our vision extends far beyond these iconic developments. It is a comprehensive journey toward a new era of infrastructure excellence, one guided by 4 strategic pillars that define how we build, innovate, and partner with the world. First pillar, we are leveraging connectivity as a catalyst for global growth. Projects like the GCC rail network and the Saudi land bridge are linking Asia, Europe, and Africa, transforming our geography into a global hub for trade and sustainable mobility. Second, we are harnessing the power of data and analytics. Throughout digital twins, predictive modeling, and AI-driven platform, we are transforming how infrastructure is planned, built, and operated, ensuring that every project advances our Vision 2030 goals of efficiency and sustainability. Third, we are building future-ready infrastructure, from digital networks and advanced manufacturing to sustainable construction and smart cities. Saudi Arabia is positioning itself as a global center for excellence for infrastructure innovation and design. Finally, we are enabling global partnership programs such as regional headquarters, which has already attracted more than 680 multinational companies in such a short time. And that demonstrates our commitment to welcoming the world best to co-create with us. Ladies and gentlemen, infrastructure is more than concrete and steel. It is the architecture of possibility. It is the framework through which we connect people, economies, and aspiration. The strong bilateral ties between France and Saudi Arabia provides a robust foundation. It is this very spirit of collaboration that we aim to leverage through cross-border investment and shared expertise, as evidenced by our role in hosting major international investment forum. The Kingdom is deeply committed to shaping the global investment landscape through open dialogue and partnership. As we look to the future, Saudi Arabia stands ready to partner and share our experience with the world. Together, we build pathway for sustainability, innovation, and shared prosperity. Let us build not only the infrastructure of tomorrow, but a legacy of progress that will inspire generations to come. Thank you.
Shukran, Mr. ALKHATTAF. We are delighted that you and the Saudi delegation could join us here this morning. We are truly honored. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to welcome our host today, France's Minister of the Economy, Finance, Industrial, Energy and Digital Sovereignty, Mr. Roland LESCURE. Please join me in extending a very warm welcome to him.
Merci beaucoup, thank you. Your Excellency, dear Khaled S. ALKHATTAF, you're the CEO of the Saudi Investment Promotion Authority, but you're also here to represent a kingdom that's showing the way into a new leadership, into projecting the kingdom into the future, into the next generation, by embracing on a program that's both ambitious and exemplary. You're showing the way, and we're very happy that you can be here today and that you could be here today to share your experience and your plans with a great audience. Bienvenue à tous et à toutes. Welcome to you all for this, I think, ninth actually, edition of Paris Infraweek. Monsieur le Directeur Général de Paris ROMANET, cher Augustin de Romanet, thank you for being here. Thank you for your leadership. I think you're showing every day that Paris is the place to be when it's about investing in the real world, but more importantly, investing in the real world that's going to make sure that the real world goes on beyond generations. Our planet is in danger, and we know, and we're proving it, that we can do both protecting our planet and creating wealth, prosperity, and making sure that our citizens can enjoy what we're doing. We gathered today for this leading annual meeting of infrastructure professionals held here in Paris at the Ministry of Economy and Finance, which at the end of the day is your home as well as mine. I had the honor of opening the 2023 edition, and I know it's a very important week for all of you. And I also know this from my previous experience when I was the Chief Investment Officer of CDPQ. I would like to express my gratitude to Paris EUROPLACE for its commitment to preparing this event. Our Paris Financial Center brings together the expertise, the talent, and financial resources that make Infraweek a major event for the infrastructure sector. I would also like, again, to warmly welcome our international guests, in particular, the delegation from Saudi Arabia, who honors us with their presence today. Welcome to you all. This year, you're dealing with infrastructure as the backbone of the triple ambition we want to have together. Infrastructure is about making sure we are sovereignty. Infrastructure is also helping our resilience faced with challenges that the world is putting in front of us. And third, infrastructure is also about enhancing competitiveness. Sovereignty, resilience, and competitiveness, these are the three pillars of what you guys are going to be addressing today. Sovereignty first. Global instability, extreme climate events, geopolitical tensions, they make investing in the ecological transition an absolute necessity. And to invest in the ecological transition, you do need to have a clear strategy for all public and private actors. France, you know this, has adopted a multi-year strategy for financing the ecological transition. An additional 82 billion euros of investment per year are required by 2030 to reach net zero emissions by 2050. It's mainly in transport, in energy efficiency building renovation, but we've also been monitoring the public finance stability of our budget for 6 years through a green budgeting exercise. And I'm telling you at the moment, going through the budget exercise is not necessarily easy every day, but we also keep in mind the fact that that budget has to be green, and it will be. We've had tangible results that reinforce our independence, again, our sovereignty. A remarkable expansion of solar power across our territory. In 2024, 81% increase compared to 2023. And we want those solar panels to be made in France. 2 gigafactories are being worked on to make sure that the solar panel that's going to help us fight climate change will help us create jobs. In wind energy, the number of onshore and offshore installations has continuously risen since 2022. In low-carbon mobility, the public charging network now exceeds 150,000 charging points. Electric cars are driving on the French roads, and most of them are now French-made. In the field of thermal renovation, nearly 2.5 million homes have been renovated since 2020, generated around 38 billion in total renovation work, again, creating jobs. In 2024, our greenhouse gas emissions have fallen by 1.8% compared with last year. This is the 5th year in a row that our emissions are going down. And again, they're going down while growth is going up. You can actually create prosperity while fighting climate change. You know that nuclear power is our energy sovereignty foundations. We are building 6 new big nuclear reactors in the next few years, with also working very hard on small modular reactors. We're also promoting low-carbon hydrogen, developing industrial capacities to master the entire value chain. For private investors, for all of you guys, we are creating an attractive framework. The Green Industry Tax Credit, introduced last year, supports production in France of solar panels, wind turbines, heat pumps, batteries. Our goal is not only to decarbonize, but also to relocalize production on our territory. Sovereignty is important, resilience is just as important. We issued last March a third adaptation national plan, which assesses our infrastructure needs to climate change and implement remedies. Resilience first requires diversification. I was at the G7 Energy last Thursday and Friday. Diversification was the key word. Geographical diversification, energy source diversification. We need to balance our mix to make sure that we're faced with the uncertainty. Developing renewables while maintaining our nuclear ambitions allows us to better cope with supply disruption, such as those that recently affected Europe. Between 140 and 150 billion will be needed by 2050 for public building renovation, schools, and so on. In 2023, we introduced new deferred payment energy performance contract, financing works through future energy savings. Industrial resilience also means maintaining production capacities in critical sectors. Carbon capture, storage technologies will enable decarbonizing heavy industries while preserving our industrial base. You can do anything to avoid carbon emissions. We know that in some industries like cement building and others, we're not going to avoid having what we call fatal carbon emissions. We need to work to make sure that we store that carbon and we send it back where it belongs, Northern Sea, for instance. Mobility infrastructure with resilience is another essential pillar. Our recent National Transport Financing Conference, Ambition France Transport, highlighted the urgency of transforming transport offering in our main metropolitan areas, creating dense, interconnected network with an estimated investment amount of 15-20 billion. Rail network investments increases by 1.5 billion per year, reaching 4.5 billion in 2028. Therefore, again, creating new opportunities in French infrastructure. Third, last but not least, competitiveness. As public investment is under severe pressure, public-private cooperation is necessary for infrastructure. We need you. On our part, this requires to maintain confidence. And on that note, I would like to emphasize that despite some headwinds, our economic fundamentals remain very strong. Growth is expected to reach 1% next year, and it's already, whatever happens in the fourth quarter, above 0.7% or at or above 0.7% this year. While inflation is amongst the lowest in the EU, we are fully committed to passing our 2026 budget and remain on track to reach our deficit targets below 3% in 29. On your side, private sector implications ensures projects offering the best value for money, long-term investment, management of risk, as stable as return as possible with a long-term horizon. You need this, we need this, on this we perfectly align. In 2024, France attracted 1,025 projects. I hope some of you have been involved in them, via a long-term attractiveness strategy. With your help, we maintain Europe's top investment destination, as has been the case for the past 5 years. France does not lack access to that goal. First and foremost, on an attractive fiscal and regulatory framework. Production taxes, capital income fiscal rules have been and should remain straightforward and predictable. I'm saying that to you. I'm also saying that to members of parliament that are currently discussing and voting a budget. Our competitiveness also depends on administrative efficiency. Speed, predictability, streamlining are decisive advantages. The recent Green Industry Act, which I had the honor of carrying in Parliament, grants special status to industrial projects of major national interest, accelerating and securing the procedure. Our competitiveness is finally grounded in the excellence of our financial ecosystem, recognized, thanks again in particular to Paris EUROPLACE, as a central hub for infrastructure financing. Dear friends of France, dear friends of Paris, dear friends of infrastructure, we have been managing in France public and private partnership since Henry IV, since Colbert. So we have a long tradition of public partnership cooperation for infrastructure. Today, as in the past, the alliance between a strategic state, industrial players, investors, ensures our collective success. We're counting on you, equity and debt providers, business leaders, industrial decision makers, for investing in our sovereignty, for investing in our resilience, for investing in our competitiveness. These three objectives, they go hand in hand. Let's build this virtuous circle together. Every euro invested in our strategic infrastructure is an investment in our collective ability to withstand crisis. Thank you very much. Have a great week, and welcome to Paris. Thank you.